One thing viewers and friends alike, you guys are not my friends, will know about me is that I like cute things. Scary, awesome, kids, cute. I actually worked a lot with kids while volunteering and they were all adorable, but you know what type of channel this is, and I don't have to tell you, so you should know. I love my Genki girls. More generally, I just like cute girls doing cute things. Anime. There's something wonderful and just fulfilling about watching your favorite girls in a show do their favorite things in your favorite cutest ways. My favorite anime of all time is A Place Further Than the Universe. I have a whole video on it if you want to go watch it afterwards, but a major part of the show is the cute girls doing cute things. It's a really simple format. Have a few cute girls get together and give them a common goal, then they do things to achieve that goal, and once they do achieve that goal, you know what? I'll just show you. Okay, that last one was more cute boys doing cute things, or I guess cool. You know what, fuck it, I'll say it. In the straightest way possible, those are some cute ass boys. But in every single one of those moments I showed you, whether you know the show or don't, you probably had some sort of emotional response. A hell yeah feeling. And now imagine that feeling if you have all the context of who those characters are and know their motivations and what struggles they have gone through to reach that point. So today, after watching the newest Cute Girls Doing Cute Things show, Ruri Rocks, and being completely dried up of video ideas, I decided to be super creative and compare the two rocks, Ruri Rocks and Bocchi the Rock. They're not exactly similar, but I mean, I guess they're both cute girls doing cute things anime. Look, I'm seriously out of ideas right now, so bear with me. Bocchi the Rock is a show that likely requires no further explanation, as all you weeby shits have probably already seen it and glazed it, but as it's my job to do so as an anime talker about her, I'll give you the quick rundown. Bocchi is an extremely antisocial person, and she rocks, literally. Wanting to not be as antisocial, she decides to pick up the guitar because it's cool and people will flock to her for it, as any delusional middle schooler would think. Sadly, this isn't the case, but in the process, she got extremely good at the guitar. She joins a band, or more like is forced to join a band with 3 others, and she now has to learn to deal with people. This is a very simple show about Bocchi overcoming her giga anxiety and slowly coming out of her shell, all while having fun in the band. And I'll cut to the chase. Let me tell you why this is an amazing anime. Matter of fact, go watch it for yourselves after if you somehow haven't yet. If we boil down anime into its 3 grossly general parts, we have sound, visual, and writing. That's a really vague term for what it actually is, but Bocchi the Rock is amazing in all 3 parts. For starters, it's a music anime, for God's sake. Obviously it will have amazing music. In fact, I have some of them in my daily mix. My favorites are Seiza ni Naretara and Ano Bando. I'm not gonna do a whole song review or anything, but it's very interesting to really hear the songs and know the context of everything. Like, just by themselves, they're awesome songs, but what the songs actually do in a more meta sense is really neat. The songs are all made by the characters, so the lyrics and everything match the characters' vibes and their personalities. But if you listen carefully, like watch the show 3 times over and spend a few hours listening to the songs and their performance versions carefully, you will be able to know that these songs are actually from the anime, and it's neat being able to visualize these small things. In all of the songs, the main guitar is displaced to your right ear. The guitar too and vocals are more centered and often balance out the main. And the bass is often displaced slightly to the left, but not too much as that would make it sound awkward. If you're keen-eyed, or keen-eared, or both actually I guess, you will notice that this is where the characters stand when they actually perform. Bocchi stands on the audience's right, Kita in the middle, Ryo on the left, and Nijika in the back. It's just a nice touch that really makes us feel more immersed. And this effect is even more exaggerated when you watch the actual anime. Take their performance at the school for example. Just listen real quick. You can really hear that all of the instruments are displaced to the characters' positions, and that makes us feel really immersed. It also helps with the fact that you need to be able to hear all the parts. That's crucial as we love all the characters. There's so many songs where you just don't hear every part, especially with J-pop. It's so chaotic and many of the parts turn into a weird melodic mush of noise. Like, it's nice and I know it, but I couldn't tell any of them apart. To show you what many J-pop songs sound like and just how hard it is to pick apart every instrument, try do it for these songs. Like, you can definitely hear the overall score and vocal, but it's really hard to pick apart every single instrument and part. For the first one, I'm sure many of you didn't even know that there was a guitar picking on the right ear and going absolutely crazy with it. I'm sure a lot of you can't hear the bass, the keyboard, or the strumming guitar. You hear the overall product put together, but not the individual parts. Same thing with the second song. I didn't even know that there was a harmony part for the singing until literally just now as I listened to it again while making this. And I've been listening to that song every day for the past 3 weeks. That is why it is so important to be able to make the sound separate enough. These aren't just songs, these are a part of the anime and we need to be able to see all the characters taking part in it. Small touches like that aren't often noticed, like I didn't notice it until I started making this video, but even still, it takes the immersion to the next level and it really makes us feel like we are there with the characters. And of course, the visuals are dealt with just as much detail. First off, it looks good. They don't just do flashy tricks for the sake of it, and even if they do take care to map out every detail, if it looks bad, they fail. What Cloverworks did is that they made it all look nice and smooth and went the extra way to show us each small detail. What happens way too often with band anime is that they try to pay attention to detail and make the fingers actually match what they're playing, but because that's way too hard to do, they resort to CGI. And there are some super bad ones. Like, look at the performance from Given. Obviously this looks terrible, but even when they do close-ups of the instruments as they play, the hands just kinda look awkwardly attached to the wrists. Really take a close look at this dude's arm. And every show does this. I've seen some really bad ones, like look at this one from Bokuben. And I don't know why, but I think the funniest one I've seen is from Fuka. Just look at this dude's guitar. What the fuck is going on with it? Also, to be fair, I don't think they even tried to add any details, like what the guy is strumming is wrong, I'm pretty sure. He's supposed to be strumming ba-ba-bum, or something like that, but look at what his hands are doing. It's just doing quarter notes. I'm also pretty sure it's out of sync with the actual beats, so he's not even playing the quarter notes correctly. I don't know, but Bocchi the Rock does something special. Even the instruments look more connected to the character's hands. I can't explain it, but it actually looks and feels like a character model holding and using an instrument rather than the guitar just being stuck onto them. It looks clean. Look at them perform. I cannot tell if it's CG. The way they move makes me think it might be, but it looks clean. And if it isn't CG, that's also pretty damn impressive. Making those 3D shapes and getting all the dimensions correctly must be tough as hell. And when it makes more sense to use traditional 2D animation, they do that too. They're not lazy with it. Look at Kita's hands. They employ small animation techniques that only really work with 2D animation. You can clearly see the motion blur and that it's 2D. They don't use too much CGI, and when they do, it looks natural. That's the goal of CGI, and they do that masterfully. Now, let's look at just how much detail they put in. The playing, when they do the close-ups, all match the actual notes being played. In this scene, from when they play Guitar, Loneliness, and Blue Planet, you see Kita playing some notes. I think those notes are D and E, and when I match the moment of the song with the tabs or someone else playing it, I also see D and D. I don't know too much guitar, just what I remember from a long time ago, so don't roast me too hard. But that's obvious. If the show puts in a lot of detail, the first thing they have to get is what they are playing. Side note, something that wasn't so obvious to me in the beginning was that Ryo actually sings the harmony, but you can definitely see it, and once you see it, it'll also be easier to hear. It's just kinda crazy that I never realized it. But I want to pay further attention to how they are playing as well. You see bits of character in how they play if you look for it. Look here. You'll see that Nijika and Ryo look at each other and nod. They know what the hell is up. They've been really close friends for a long time. If you look for it, you can see this a lot. They have the synergy as the main rhythm section, but also as being the oldest members and friends. You can see Ryo look back at Nijika towards the beginning of the school concert. They do this again in the scene where Bocchi is shredding. They're all mesmerized, but as the rhythm section and being veterans, Nijika and Ryo know when the song has to start, and even though they were shocked, they know when to lock in. They give each other a nod and then start the drums. The only one who's kinda out of the loop, as they are the newest member, is Kita. You see the exact moment where she goes, "Oh shit, we're starting!" She was fascinated the whole time and forgot that they were even playing. And because she was caught off guard and how bad the previous performance was, like, it was bad. You can hear the drums messing up, the bass missing things, and Kita voice cracking, but because of all that, she looks slightly uncomfortable and self-conscious for the rest of the song. Their nervousness and their messing up was also because this was their first performance. If you've seen the show, you'll also know that she's kinda naive and the silly one. You know, she's constantly getting duped by Ryo, she's not exactly stupid, but she may be slower on things like that, especially because she is new. But this kind of detail is insane. Let's talk a little more about Kita. You know that she is the newest member, and her biggest deal was that she is a complete noob at the guitar. We see that when she plays. Notice how Kita strums versus how Bocchi does. Kita makes way bigger movements and looks more stiff. That's an extremely common trap newer players fall into. If you look at Bocchi on the other hand, you'll see that she is way more controlled, accurate, and makes smaller, swifter movements. And when you see the last performance of the season, you'll also notice that this wild movement from Kita is gone for the most part. Kita looks way more natural here than she did before. And even other than this, of course there are a ton of more minor details. Like, you see Nijika mark time here with her legs. We can hear that Kita's improvised solo when Bocchi's string broke was very simple, consisting of only chords, and it's believable that an amateur can do it. She also flares up her movements a little bit more to take some attention off of Bocchi. This is actually a pretty common trait for Kita. She has a showmanship and natural charm as the lead singer of the band, so we often see her do these cute little movements. For example, at the start of that song when Nijika counts them down, Kita gets the crowd hyped by doing her cute little clap. Here, as she sings the lyrics to the song, she matches the timing with the little head movements. You'll even notice that she'll look at the crowd more than the others when she doesn't have to focus too much on the guitar. And you'll also see her look back at the guitar when she has to change chords. Most pros would make taking a look a little more subtle and usually just move their eyes, but of course, she's not a pro. It's the little amateurish things like that that give this show so much charm. And finally, at the end of the song, she gives a little wink. She's so cute. Apart from this, the characters' movements within each performance looks like what one with their personalities might do when they actually perform at the right parts. We see Ryo nonchalantly pace back and forth while she has a break. We see her sway side to side sometimes. You know, she's just chill like that, and that just seems right. If Bocchi did that, it would feel awkward. We see Nijika bob her head a lot, getting excited being the Genki girl she is. I love my Genki girls. We see Bocchi lean in when she has an especially hard part. There are just so many little details within the animation, and I probably missed a ton, so if you find any, let me know in the comments. And by the way, these are just the performances. There's so many other great feats of animation outside of this. During many of the comedic scenes, we see different art styles and they always seem to fit the sound, the joke, and the situation. They add on to just how funny this show is. And that's the writing parts. This is a simple show with a very simple plot. All of the characters are really likable with their own quirks and charming points. Kita is disgustingly in love with Ryo, and Ryo acts like a cool psychopathic bimbo as she manipulates her. Nijika is a Genki girl. I love my Genki girls. And Bocchi is Bocchi. She's antisocial but still so lovable because of how hard she tries. There isn't much to talk about in the overall narrative. We just see Bocchi grow and be more comfortable with being around friends the longer the show goes on, so I'll be talking more about the comedy and just how well it's written. Comedy in shows can't be out of nowhere. Sure, they have to be unexpected. If you know a joke is coming, you wouldn't find it funny, and I bet you didn't see this joke coming. Why did the chicken cross the road?
Beans, what the fuck?
But jokes still should be in line with how the characters are. If Bocchi randomly played a prank on Kita, that wouldn't be as funny as it would be weird. Where did that come from? What did I just watch? So jokes have to be based on some established fact about the character. And every single one of this show's jokes does this. We know that Bocchi is kind of a downer, and we see that in action. As a result, many of her jokes are self-deprecating in nature. We also know that she plays the guitar, and that's like the whole point of the show. So what do we get if we combine those two? No, not emo rock, we get her singing depressing songs. We see this here, and also a different time when she gets her money taken away. She starts a song called Sayonara Yukichi. Yukichi is a person on the 10,000 yen bill, which is like $100, so it would be as if she started a song called Goodbye Benjamin. But even other jokes make use of the character's traits. They're quirky and new every time. We see the joke with her in the maid cafe, for example. And during all the jokes, the background and how the characters respond are also true to the characters. Like, look at Ryo in this scene. From what we have seen, we know that she is a nonchalant gremlin. She acts cool for the most part, but that's just how she is perceived. We know that she's an absolute fucking gremlin, and she acts in the perfect way. We know that Bocchi has wild delusions. I mean, the whole reason she started guitar was because she thought she would become super popular because of it. So we know she's pretty delusional, and it's fun to see the delusion go both ways. Look at this scene. And now, this one too. She does something slightly good, she's a superstar. She does something even slightly bad, insert LTG clip.
You should know yourself now.
And I don't want to just tell you every single joke they do, as it's just not the same as watching it for yourself, so please go watch it. And if you've already seen it, watch it again anyways, but seriously pay attention to the details this time. Anyways, there you have it. My name is... did you forget? There's a whole other part to this video. This video was a contest to see which of the rock shows were better, meaning that I'm also going to be talking about Ruri Rocks and how Ruri really doesn't rock. But it would absolutely rock if you guys can all like and subscribe. These videos take a long time to make and I'm trying to keep a consistent schedule going on, but it's hard. Thanks. I'll say it, it's not even close. The scale of the difference might be as big as Ultra Instinct Goku versus Nokotan, which Noko obviously clears. Bocchi the Rock is way closer to being the best anime of all time than Ruri Rocks is close to Bocchi the Rock's level. I don't just think Ruri Rocks is bad in comparison to Bocchi the Rock, because Bocchi is such a good show that many shows are bad compared to it. Ruri Rocks alone is a terrible show, or at least I couldn't stand it. And wait, last time I checked, it's my channel, so fuck you. I can say whatever the hell I want, and you can't do anything about it. Na 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 boo boo. Ruri Rocks sucks. This is a character-centric show, meaning that the overall plot and narrative isn't all that important. The only plot is girl likes rock, girl goes to get cool rock with cool friends. However, that makes the characters and their interactions extra important. To begin with, Ruri is annoying as hell. She's like an exaggerated caricature of a bratty child, but you know, bratty gremlins of characters are sometimes fine. The little girl from Buddy Daddies was just as much of an annoying child. Nobita from Doraemon is also kind of like this, but the difference is that they're actually children. The girl is like 5 or something and Nobita is still in elementary. Ruri is in high school, she is not much younger than I am, and having a 16-year-old act the way she does is just kinda weird, and her voice, holy shit. No flack to the voice actor, it's probably more of Ruri and the writing that pisses me off, but this has made me absolutely despise that high-pitched voice. Who's that voice actor anyways? The voice actor for Pikachu? Oh no, am I gonna hate Pikachu? But for this show, we basically have a whiny talking Pikachu. But that may be subjective, maybe some people don't find her annoying. Sure, I'll give that to you, but the connections and interactions are just bad. Not subjectively, but they're objectively nonsensical. To explore that, I think we should look at the other characters first. Tits has no character. Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest, I genuinely could not remember her name because she was so forgettable and I just wrote her name down as Tits while taking notes. She doesn't even look like a protagonist, can you really blame me? And she is so boring. She only ever acts as a walking encyclopedia on rocks for exposition, and so Ruri knows what she's doing. She has never cracked a joke, been part of a joke, she's never really done anything cute, and in a cute girls doing cute things show, that's a problem. Anyways, her name is Nagi, and Nagi has weird tits. That's just the first thing I notice about her. Something about the proportions just seems off. I think her face is just a little too flat or short. To me, it just kinda looks odd. And by the way, this show is not supposed to be sexual. Like, they don't say anything about the boobs, but they always frame the scenes in a way where they seem to be the central focus, or it's framed in a way where the effect is exaggerated. Like, as if the camera is in 0.5 mode and it's placed slightly below her chest. I don't know cinematography well enough to give an in-depth comment on this, so I'll just leave it as how I felt about it. Like, it's really subtle, and it might just be me going crazy after the last video, but I swear something is up. Anyways, Nagi has genuinely no defining characteristic other than she knows a lot about rocks and is a straight-laced person. I couldn't tell you anything else about her. The single time she did anything else was when she scolded Ruri for being stupid, and the way that they do it is just kinda awkward.
ダメだ。そういうことをされると、私はルリをどこへも連れて行ってやれなくなる。改めてくれるか?
It was like watching a mom scold their child in front of you. It's just weird. And she had to do this a couple of other times, so I don't even know why she keeps Ruri around. Ruri is dumb, and she doesn't know shit about shit. She's not nice or anything. All she ever does is bitch, moan, and fuck shit up. I genuinely do not know why they hang out. It's not even like they're both around the same age and share the same interests. Nagi is in graduate school, so she's gotta be in her mid-20s, and Ruri is maybe 16 to 17. It also doesn't even seem like they share the same interest. Ruri seems very materialistic in her approach, while Nagi is somehow emotionally attached to the rocks. It's not like they reach big goals or anything, they just see something that looks somewhat cool, and Nagi just starts preaching about how that is emotionally significant. Like, oh, what are we doing here? I think the most important thing when writing friends and stories is showing the audience exactly why they might want to be friends. Do they share the same interests? Are they just good people? Do they both gain something from it? Look at Yori Moi. They all want to reach the same goal, but they also are all very caring people. So they start by only going for personal reasons, but slowly they realize that they want to be with each other specifically. At the beginning, when Yuzu was saying how all the rest of the girls are friends, they're all like, no, we just met, we just have the same goals, and yeah, that's pretty true. They won't be hostile to each other or anything, they'll be generally nice, but they don't have a deep connection that goes beyond reaching the same goal. Kimari wants to do something special with her youth. Shirase wants to go to the place her mother went. Hinata wants to make the best of her youth and go out with a hurrah before she will be too busy with school. Yuzu just wants friends, and going to Antarctica will make all of those true. But as they spend more time with each other and see just how caring and fun those people are, they realize that they are all friends and want to be with each other. Same thing with Bocchi the Rock. They all started out with shallow goals. Nijika literally just needed any guitarist, so she picked up Bocchi. But after seeing how good she is, and just how willing she is to put in the extra effort to improve for them, they realize that she shouldn't just be any random guitarist, that she should be their guitarist. But now look at Ruri Rocks. Ruri wants to find cool minerals. I get that, so she forces Nagi to help her just like how Nijika did, but Nijika had a reason to keep Bocchi around. Bocchi is charming, cute, she's nice, makes a strong effort, they're around the same age, Bocchi's super good. Why does Nagi keep Ruri around? Ruri is not kind or empathetic, they're not similar in age, she's not exactly helpful, and Nagi can do everything just fine, maybe even better without her around, and Ruri's kind of a dickhead. The moment Nagi tries to get her to help out with anything, to reach Ruri's goal by the way, she bitches and she moans, and then either messes things up, or Nagi has to take the time to explain things to her. She cannot be fun to be around. Sure, if you're a part of the audience, you may see it as charming because of the halo effect and how she's an innocent looking anime girl, but really put yourself in Nagi's shoes. You're gonna be having a miserable time, and even though Ruri has more of a valid reason to stick around with Nagi, I feel like it would also be a bit awkward if I were Ruri. She wants cool rock. She wants the coolest rock. She doesn't really care about their chemical composition or history, she just wants the coolest looking rock. And when she picks up some cool looking rock, Nagi always just shows up and says how it isn't cool and how some lame looking one is actually the cool one because of some emotional bullshit. And the one thing they always resort to is, these rocks took millions of years to accumulate in mass and that has emotional value. Like, I get both perspectives, but thinking that way and doing the large emotional scene for every single rock they ever pick up with the same explanation every time gets old really fast. And for the most part, I don't think they get passion right in this show. Okay, obviously something as vague as passion can show itself in multiple different ways, but I feel like this show does it in a weird way, especially compared to other shows of its kind. First off, I have passions. I used to even like rocks and minerals. I have this cool encyclopedia about some of them, and I thought it was the coolest thing, but that's an example of just being a nerd about things. That's fine, that's pretty normal. In anime, however, passion often takes a different form. It's more emotional and builds up to a large cathartic moment. For example, Yorimoya again. They get emotional once they reach the goal together. Bocchi the Rock, they sometimes get emotional when there's a large growth. Even in something like Yuru Camp, the scenes get somewhat emotional when the characters make a large step forward, together or alone. But Ruri Rocks is oddly materialistic, which is the opposite of what they seem like they want to do in the show, in the sense that they don't really seem to care about the process, yet the rock and its story in itself. Even Dagi, they don't really seem to care about the long and grueling process and how they did it together. They seem to care that the specific rock takes millions of years to form. I don't know, this isn't really a critique necessarily, but a small part of me also feels like they wanted to truly go for emotional scenes, which they won't really get from such a materialistic point of view. That's like just taking some random shit, like an American dollar, and going, this took the combined effort and luck of the Earth forming, then evolution taking its course, to then humans. It took the combined effort of scientists for thousands of years just to get the right ideas, conventions, and material to form this dollar. But for everything. Like, I guess, but it's also going to be way more personal and sentimental if they show the process of how they specifically got to that point. Instead of this dollar took millions of years to make, it should be this dollar was the first dollar I ever got and it's emotionally significant because of X. Instead of this rock took millions of years to form, it should be this rock took us years to find with the combined effort of everyone here. They somewhat, like very somewhat do this after getting the sapphire, but the characters aren't shown enough motivation for it to make a big impact. So I think emotions just won't work well with the show. So I think they just shouldn't try it. There's no foundation to make us care, which means that the emotions of the process and everything won't work. What they can do instead is just show the characters being super happy about getting a super cool rock. It can be that simple. It can just be a nerdy hobby rather than some pseudo-emotional thing. However, there's one person who somewhat has everything I'm talking about. They have a passion and the reason it might be emotional. Shoko. Just one small nitpicky thing about her past though. She hears her dad say that he wouldn't want his daughter to become a rock professor as it might not pay well, and instead suggests a bakery or flower shop. like what? Those jobs are not paying better. But anyways, Shoko loved rocks ever since she was a child, but was ridiculed out of it. She was a cheerful kid, she seemed chill as hell, and I thought she might save the show, and she somewhat did. I think she was the one good character in the series. We see her almost be forced out of her passion, then when she meets Ruri, she starts to find her passion again and learns that it's okay to have that passion. She also has more of a reason to hang out with everyone, and everyone has more of a reason to hang out with her. For starters, she's the same age as Ruri, and they share the same passion, which goes a long way because it is so rare to find someone else with such a niche hobby. And this goes for Ruri too. She'll feel closer to someone her age, and because they're more similar in age, Ruri doesn't completely rely on her. They seem to have a more natural friendship. Shoko also knows more about minerals and is actually somewhat helpful at times. She seems serious, she isn't an active hindrance, and everyone has more of a reason to be with her than Ruri. So honestly, I think fuck Ruri and Shoko should have been the main character. Look at this scene.
私真面目に考えてるんです。本読んでるんです。意思も集めてるんです。私鉱物の研究者になりたいんです。
This is main character material. She is proactive, she cares, she has valid emotional attachment, she has a reason to be around and to be kept around. Finally, this is a good portrayal of passion. We see the process and how long it took for her to open up again. We are shown that she genuinely cares about the hobby. Too bad she only shows up in episode 7 and is not the main character. I'll say it, episode 7 was by far the best episode. The future episodes with the addition of Shoko to the group are a little more bearable, but most of the other problems still persist. Though I think the show is bad, I do think that it has some educational value. I've learned some things about rocks that I didn't know before, and if you really don't know anything about rocks, you'll learn a lot. The show also looks really pretty for the most part, and it makes me really sad that the show could have been so good with good visuals, educational value, and Shoko. but we are left with a whiny child doing annoying things. I really believe this show could have been special. Rocks and minerals are a completely foreign subject to anime, and it's one I've shared an interest in the past. But when we actually get an anime exploring it, the results are so disappointing. This show was almost made for me. Rocks, cute girls, I really wanted to like it, but it was just done in all the wrong ways. So though Ruri Rocks has a pretty nice visual, with a decent character, it just isn't able to make up for the annoying bratty characters, the superficial relationship, and the failure of emotion. Bocchi the Rock, on the other hand, takes superb attention to detail both visually and audibly, has a really unique visual style with creative animation choices, great comedic writing based on established facts about the characters, and displays a masterful understanding of humans, human relationship, and why the characters might want to stick to each other. Those are the reasons why Bocchi rocks and Ruri doesn't. Well, there you have it. My name is NoahBoahCoah, and my favorite crystal is that good shit And thank you for watching.